Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Saturday, March 9th, 2024. And if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my college basketball Bank Shop best bet, you can find us in the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Saturday in college hoops. First up, we see Iowa State and Kansas State. This one's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on ESPN2. Now, we know Iowa State as a team that you just don't want to mess with when they're playing at home. They didn't lose a single home game this year. This is the final game of the regular season. That's obviously a road game, so we can clinch the fact that the Cyclones will not lose a home game in 2024. However, on the road, we've seen them lose a few spots. Teams like Oklahoma, Baylor, Houston, and BYU, all losses on the road for the Cyclones. However, when you look at those teams, those are all tournament teams, some of the better teams in this conference. When Iowa State's play the road against some of the weaker teams in the conference, like Cincinnati, UCF, they've been able to take care of business. And they also have some nice wins against TCU and Texas in true road games. So I'm not concerned with the Cyclones, even though this offense is not as great on the road as it is home. I still think they have a huge fundamental advantage, just like they did in the first matchup of this season series, as Kansas State turns the ball over a ton. They're ranked 349th in the nation in turnover percentage offensively. Iowa State is the best team in the country, second best team now, in forcing turnovers, forcing a turnover on 26.1% of its possessions defensively. So, an offense that may not be great in the half court certainly is going to get a lot of opportunities and fast break opportunities. And, in the first game, we saw Iowa State have six more offensive rebounds than Kansas State did. And that goes a long way in a game like this, where Iowa State, like I said, not an amazing shooting team, not a great free throw shooting team, but they do the fundamentals so well, and they have such a big advantage over a team like Kansas State that, to me, we're going to see a mismatch. So I'm going to go with the Iowa State Cyclones in this one, lay the points on the road, especially after Kansas State's really bad loss against Kansas. I know it's a rivalry game, and Kansas was looking for revenge, but just a disappointing result there for the Wildcats. I'm going to go with Iowa State in this one. Next up, we see one of the better games on the board for the Saturday card. It's going to be in the SEC as Kentucky takes on Tennessee. This one, 4 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on CBS. Great matchup between two rivals in this conference, two top 15 teams in the AP polls. Tennessee's just on a roll right now. They've won 7 straight games, and it's not like they're beating only the weaker teams in this conference. Yes, they have wins over Arkansas, Missouri, and Vanderbilt along the way of this win streak, but most recently, they won games against Texas A&M, Auburn, Alabama, and then at South Carolina. Tennessee's not known for being a great road team, but this season, they've actually been pretty solid with their most recent 2 true road wins against Bama and South Carolina. Not easy places to play, not easy teams to beat. And it's tough to go against Tennessee in this matchup because they just match up so well with Kentucky, especially with Tennessee at home here. But even in the first matchup with Tennessee on the road at Kentucky, they put up 103 points in that ball game. A Tennessee program is known for its defense and a little bit of offense here and there, put up triple digits in that game. It goes to show you this Kentucky defense is not really to be trusted at all times. We've seen some really clunker performances from the defense at times, and it's why I'm worried about them. And when it comes to their postseason play into the conference tournaments and NCAA tournament, because this is A, a young team, and B, the defense is not where it needs to be. Kentucky is a very potent offense, extremely skilled, a great three-point shooting team, but you're playing against one of the best defenses in the country, third in adjusted defensive efficiency, second in effective field goal percentage defense, top 20 in both three-point and two-point defense. Now, I don't love the fact that they're not an amazing defensive rebounding team, but Kentucky is only ranked 181st in offensive rebounding percentage, so I don't think they get enough second-chance looks to really make Tennessee pay in that facet of the game. And like I said, I just can't trust this Kentucky defense, especially on the road against one of the hottest teams in the country. I got to go Tennessee in this matchup and lay the points. Next up, we see Florida and Vanderbilt. This one's going to be 4:30 Eastern. It's going to be on the SEC Network. I do expect a bit of a letdown here from the Florida Gators after their big blowout win over Alabama, a team that has played really well against the Gators in the last couple of seasons. Florida was able to earn that 105-87 final score. Florida's hit triple digits a couple times this season, but those were in overtime games. This was the first time they were able to get to the century mark without overtime. And I think Florida is a team to watch out for in the tournament. I don't love their defense, similar to Kentucky. Very, very potent offense, but the defense is a little bit of a concern. But here on the road, while I think they win this game, I just don't think they cover. They haven't been great in this big favorite role, especially in conference play. I mean, we saw not too long ago in Gainesville, Florida was a big favorite against Vanderbilt. Florida won that game comfortably. They were up by double digits for basically the entire game, but Vanderbilt still found a way somehow to find the backdoor cover. And it was a game where Vanderbilt did not shoot the ball very well. You would think that if Vandy had success against Florida against the spread, that they had a really good shooting night, but they were 44% from 2, 22.7% from 3, and 65% from the free throw line. The difference maker was Vanderbilt had 30 free throws. They had more offensive rebounds. They were about even in the turnover battle. They played fundamentally sound basketball, and if they do so here at home, they should be able to find a cover at least. You get a little bit better shooting numbers. Maybe you have a chance to pull off the outright upset. I still think Florida wins this game. They're still the much better team, but I think Vandy on senior night, the final game of the regular season, does enough here to cover the number. So I'm going to take the points here with the Vanderbilt Commodores. Next up, we see North Carolina and Duke, one of the best rivalries in college basketball. This one's 6:30 Eastern. It's going to be on ESPN. Had to talk about this game, especially because we talked about the first matchup of this season series. That was a 93-84 win for North Carolina. We were on the Tar Heels in that one, but I'm switching sides here. I'm going to go with the home team in Duke in this rematch revenge game. Duke was a team that was concerning me a bit because their defense, that two-point defense, was not sharp. And I watched that game against Virginia Tech, and that's where it really all started. Virginia Tech was scoring a lot of easy buckets in the paint, and that's not a team necessarily known for scoring easy buckets in the paint with their backcourt. And I was concerned. We saw Wake Forest have some success there, and their defense just had some issues. But I was really impressed with Duke in its last game against NC State. I thought it was a really complete game for a Duke team that still is yet to be 100% healthy for most of the season. They're missing Caleb Foster, but it was a really good effort from Duke because they were able to win in blowout fashion by 15 points on the road without the three-point jumper really being there. They shot 30% from three. It wasn't miserable, especially in the second half they got going, but in the first half they were really struggling from the perimeter, yet they still somehow had a lead, and that was also after the fact NC State started the game on a 9-0 run. So you're on the road against a team that's pretty solid with a nice home court advantage. You're down 9-0 in a regional rivalry. It's a really tough place to be in for a pretty young team. And Duke was able to settle down. The three-point shot wasn't working, but they were able to get those sustainable buckets in the paint. They were 61% from two-point range. They had 19 offensive rebounds. That's the big thing. This team has a good front court. They have to be able to attack the glass more if they want to have success in this NCAA tournament. They were able to do so in that game. I think going forward, Duke is a team to watch out for. They have revenge here against their big rivals. North Carolina, a great team, but on the road here, we've seen them stumble on the road. They lost at Georgia Tech. They lost at Syracuse. Not great losses there. I think we see them lose this one. Give me Duke in this one. I'm going to lay the points. Next up, we see Minnesota and Northwestern. This one's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on the Big Ten Network. Both of these teams have to be pretty frustrated with their recent performances. We've seen Northwestern lose the last 2 games. Minnesota has lost 3 of the last 4. However, I do think that Northwestern is still the better team in this one. Minnesota's a great cover team. They've been one of the more profitable teams in college basketball, but Northwestern's playing at home. They have a nice home court advantage. They're playing with revenge after losing at Minnesota in overtime, a really heartbreaking loss for the Wildcats there. And like I said, I just think that Northwestern fundamentally, shot quality-wise, the far superior team. Minnesota, while they were covering, they still don't have an amazing record. I mean, they're a losing record in conference play. They have 18-12 overall, which is okay, but they played a pretty weak non-conference schedule. I do think, actually, the weakest non-conference schedule in college basketball, 362nd ranked, but I think Northwestern takes care of business here, gets that revenge win and cover. Give me the Wildcats. I'm going to lay the points. And that's it. Those are the games for Saturday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium, and there's a link in the description. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.